Welcome back into Pritch's Get Stitches. We're glad you found us. We're glad you're here with us. And Holly, how you doing?
You know, I'm a bit hangry today. I forgot that I was supposed to go to World Market earlier in the week to find something for the What Are We Eating? So I spent all morning going to grocery stores and convenience stores to find something and couldn't find anything except for long lines and moronic drivers. And I haven't eaten today yet. And so it's been a rough morning, but I'm trying to be zen. I did eat a protein bar.
All right.
To be in a good mood.
So yes, you were hangry. You came in here just yelling it up, mad at the dogs.
On a rampage.
Mad at the world.
I know, those poor dogs. I didn't even do anything.
Lulu's back there sleeping now because she's like, I don't even want to go near that woman.
She cowered.
Yeah.
Sure. So who do we have on the show with us today here, Scott?
All right. So we've been having some cameos from our number one Pritch slapped daughter, Lexi. So she's been... So she decided she wanted to come on the show for a minute today. I actually invited, I said, who wants to be on the show? Because I was thinking we were going to be trying ketchup Doritos, right?
Correct. Ketchup and mustard.
I was down to try those, honestly. I'm like, yes, I'll go for anything. I'm more the child who is willing to try a lot of stuff.
So I thought ketchup Doritos will have you on.
I was going to do ketchup and mustard because they have both. And last week when I didn't eat them, everywhere had them. This week I go to get them. I go to H-E-B, walk the entire store, none. Go to Kroger, walk the entire store, none. Convenience store, none. So yeah.
Well, I see you have water today only, which means no coffee, which means whatever you picked up must not be horrible.
You know, I tried to pick up something good today because the last few times we've tried stuff that's nasty, and it's like, we don't always have to eat nasty things.
That's right. We don't.
Yeah. So yeah, Lexi, you chose a good day because today we are trying El Mexicano Relenitos. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it.
That was the most Texan way ever.
Didn't you take like 3 years of Spanish in high school?
Listen, I have a learning disability, okay?
I thought it was a math learning disability.
It's related also to foreign language. It's related to sequential logic.
Went to school like 17 million times. How?
Hey, but then, I'm still not Mexican.
So you bought those and then you stopped at 7-Eleven. I don't know if you bought those at 7-Eleven. I assume you did.
I bought those at H-E-B.
Okay, so then you stopped at 7-Eleven to look for Doritos.
Correct.
And you picked this up for me. Dr. Pepper, you pulled out a good one here. Sun-kissed watermelon lemonade.
Lemonade. It's a new one.
And it's delicious.
Okay, so these are coconut cream filled biscuits. Again, not a biscuit. It's a cookie.
Okay.
Hey.
Oh, you already tried it.
Better be good.
Lexi just jumped right on in.
Well, Lexi did. Yeah. Usually we do a countdown, but she's all about it. Okay, ready?
Lexi eats first, always. All right.
That is true. 3, 2, 1.
I don't like coconut.
I'd get these.
Mm-hmm.
I do love me some coconut. Oh yeah. These are delicious.
You're leaving them here?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you taking them home? Which one?
No, I'm gonna leave them. I can't take these home. These will be gone today. Like that 5-pound bag of gummy bears I bought 3 days ago. It's already gone and divvied up. The yellows and the whites, and Jared took them.
I love the yellows and the whites.
Ugh. I love those cookies. El Mexicano Relenitos. I'm coming back for you.
And those are delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like coconut.
You not like them?
They're good. I don't think it'd be my first pick.
That would be my first choice. Anything coconut. You're lucky though, because I debated between those. The other options were again gefilte fish, herring, and tuna in oil.
Oh, tuna in oil. I have tuna in oil. It's been sitting in I don't know why I have it. Somebody gave it to us. I don't even know. But I have and it's not the small can. It's the huge can of tuna in oil. I'm like, that'll never get eaten. So I'm waiting for like the Boy Scouts to come or whatever to come around. Like, hey, we're collecting cans. I'm like, great, get rid of this.
I also considered anchovies, but all I could think of was that time when Mom was gone. I think she was in Germany, and he was in Germany for a month, and Dad experimented with all sorts of different foods to try. And he gets a pizza. Remember, we used to get Checkers pizza.
Oh, Checkers, yeah.
Man, Checkers pizza was good.
It was like a ginormous pizza for like
$5.
Giant
deliciousness.
But that's why we got it. It wasn't because it was great. Like the pizza probably tasted like cardboard, but of course we were kids. But Mom and Dad were like, hey, you can feed everybody with one pizza for $5. Which that's how I am.
Right. I don't know if you remember, but Dad decided to order pizza one night and he got half pepperoni, because I think it was you and me and Chad home, and then half anchovies. And the entire pizza tasted like anchovies. Like we couldn't even, like, you bit the pepperoni and it was anchovies. And that was all I could think of when I considered the anchovies.
So I was talking to our buddy Sean. Okay, so a couple episodes ago, Sean, he's my oldest and best friend. I had said, go on, leave a comment, even if you just tell us we're a bunch of dummies. Okay. And Sean went on literally to that episode right when he heard it. And he said, you guys are a bunch of dummies. I'm like, so he calls me, and I guess you've marked our YouTube page. You have to monitor all the comments, and I don't mess with the comments and stuff. And so he calls me the other day, and he's like, hey, because then the next episode you said, like, immediately we started and we're like, hey, leave us a comment. And then you said, but if you're just going to troll us, just go on. So I said the previous one, even if you tell us we're a bunch of dummies, you said, don't troll us, like, move on. And so Sean calls me and he's like, hey, dude, I just want to make sure I'm not one of the ones you said not to troll because I left this comment and you've never responded anything. And then you said that. And I'm like, dude, I haven't even seen it. So we're discussing it, and come to find out it just hadn't been approved yet or whatever. And
so what happened was, let me tell you, when I go in to approve the comments, it didn't pop up because it was censored. So when I clicked on comments, instead of popping up with a comment like normal, it popped up with something else that I just assumed said like no comments. But what it was saying was this comment may contain offensive material. So him calling us dummies was apparently offensive to you too. So I had to click like okay on that and then approve the comment.
Yeah, I was highly offended, Sean. So I know you're listening. You're one of our avid listeners, and we love you for it. But anyways, we get to talking, and he reminds me of when my other friend Sean Chandler had come to visit after they had moved away. And when he was there, he's like 14. And we went to the store, I think like Mickey's, and he bought oysters and Doritos and was putting the oysters on the Doritos and eating them and like loved it. Yeah, it's gross. So he reminded me of that, and we had a good laugh.
You don't need to put seafood on anything else. Like, make it how you want to make it, but don't put it on anything else that it doesn't.
Yeah, so that was, he reminded me of that. So then I thought, well, maybe we should try that. Oysters and Doritos.
I did see oysters, but I just was like, ooh, I don't like the texture of oysters. Yeah. And that was the other thing. That was part of the reason I couldn't do any of the fish or anything. Because like texture already, and I'm on this Mediterranean diet trying to eat all this fish. Okay, let me tell you, it's not been going well.
Well, you ate 5 pounds of gummy bears.
Here's what happened. What happened was I didn't fish that much.
Who does?
But it's like a mind over matter thing for me. Like I can eat anything, like mind over matter, right? But after 5 days in a row of mind over matter, my mind is like, nah, I'm not playing this anymore. And
your diet doesn't matter.
It's rough. Yeah. So now I've just decided. However, I did buy tickets for Tampa at the end of August, beginning of September. I'm going to go down and see my best friend Aaron down there. That means I have 2 months to get in shape. So
all right.
Diet starts Monday.
Okay. Well, are you there on a Friday?
I am there. Yes. So we'll have to record an episode before I leave.
No, I'll just fly to Tampa. I'll just bring all the stuff.
Oh, I mean, shoot, go for it. I'm down for that.
I don't know. We'll see. Well, awesome. Well, I have Lexi on here. I let her on before we get into our fun fact of the day. I have Lexi on because, devices and, everybody's got a device, right? Phones, tablets, computers, and it's really hard to safeguard kids these days against things, predators, inappropriate chats. I mean, things that, happen to every kid. I mean, I think we all experienced that to some degree, but just way more than we had, Holly, as kids. Like if you wanted to talk to your boyfriend and be inappropriate, you had to call him on the phone and risk somebody.
Risk mom listening in. Oh,
yeah.
I can't even tell you how much mom found out by mastering how to pick up the phone without a click. Like she could do it so good, and then she'd listen in.
Yeah, hit the mute button. Couldn't hear. So there's just a lot. So our kids, and even me, like I have filters on my phone because I don't know when my kids are gonna be on it. For me personally, like I don't want things coming to me that I don't want, basically. And so like people are like, oh, you filter on your phone. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to see garbage. So anyways, we have been trying and working, we gave Jared a phone when he was 13, and we've been working on getting, learning the safeguards. Like he's the oldest. So he gets all the, what's the word? No, not all the stuff. Lexi, calm down. He gets all the, trial and error.
Jeez, trial and error.
So we've been trial and error. And you know what? We have 3 different filter things on his phone. One is like Google. So we have Android phones. So we have like a Google family link, and that's to help us like know where he is and turn off the phone, give it time limits and stuff. And then we have we have Norton Family, which goes onto his phone, and there's some apps that Google Family Link won't let us.
I was thinking Norton Family, like Val.
Yeah.
No. And I'm like, Norton Family, what's this? But you mean the company Norton.
The company Norton, yes.
Got it. Okay.
I always thought someone in our family, our mom's side made that. I don't know.
Yeah. So they are Nortons. So anyways, we have Norton Family, and that, because there's things that Family Link won't block, like the Google, Google app. The Google app is really, I'll say dangerous, but you can find anything on that Google app. And Family Link won't let us block that. So we can block that with Norton. Well, then we have something else now that we just found. It's called Accountable to You. And so that just basically monitors text messaging and things like that. Just if anything comes up on their screen, we'll shoot us a message. And I'm not trying to like, hey, you can't have fun, you can't talk, but kids don't have fully developed brains.
Like if somebody texts Jared, then you see the text message.
No. Only if it triggers, there's like trigger words and things like that.
So if I send him a text with the F word, does that pop up?
It probably will.
I was just wondering, because I send him those all the time during the Giants games. I get real into those. He and I do, and then I'm like, because we always like go downhill in the ninth and lose.
Yeah. Not really though. They swept a couple of series here. The Giants.
They play the Dodgers tonight, and I thought Dodgers were still in first, but the Diamondbacks, man.
I think Diamondbacks have the best record in the MLB, if I'm not mistaken. At least
I think they're the second best. I think they're the best if I'm not mistaken, they're the best in the NL, which is so super surprising. But the Dodgers are behind them 3 games, and we're behind them 5. So we're finally on the better side of 500. And we're coming on a winning streak, and I think Dodgers are on a losing streak. So hopefully we can carry that momentum into LA, but I'm a little worried.
Oh, so Lexi here she's getting ready to go into high school. She's been, Jared got a phone when he was in 7th grade, and we just haven't given her a phone yet. And just trying to, trial and error. And for us, it's.
I don't know though. Lexi finds some ingenious ways to talk to her little boyfriends and friends, like a Google Doc, and shares it.
Oh my
girl, the things I've seen on those between you and your boyfriends.
That was for school because like.
Oh no, girl, that was text messaging. Get over it.
Hey, so
it's ingenious. It was ingenious. I'm not gonna lie.
So a little life hack as a parent to parent. Of course, Holly's like, that's ingenious. Great way to hide from your conversations from your parents. Parent to parent, Google Docs. Google Sheets, all of those, they can type in, they can talk to each other. Whoever has it shared, they delete it, they type again, they delete, they type again. So, just a little, there you go.
But when I would do that a lot in 7th grade, because I had a lot of friends in 8th grade. And so it was just easier to we would all be like, oh, we want to talk to each other. And so we'd set up a doc and all talk on that.
Yeah. So it moves back and forth. Anyways, I think we've got a good setup to be able to help our kids. And does it cost money? Absolutely. But I tell, it's not very much. And I tell, one thing I say is how much is too much to help safeguard your family? It's kind of like when Val and I, we go through therapy and things like that, so we can be a stronger couple. And we say, how much is too much to have a healthy marriage? And it's there, you can't put a price tag on that. So we're okay with that. And I realized the other day, Lexi's been using one of my old phones just to kind of talk with her friends and play games and watch YouTube. But it doesn't have which she's not supposed to be watching YouTube, by the way. And so I realized I need to safeguard this phone a little more, because it was just one of my old phones just kind of sitting there. And so I actually went on to Verizon last night and I said, hey, I have this extra SIM card, because they were going to send me a SIM card. It was 5-10 days. And I'm like, I have this extra one. Will it work? And they said it works. And so I brought in Lexi's phone that she's been using. So here it is. And I think that we're good to go. Go ahead and type a text message, see if it works.
What?
Send a message to your dad. That's crazy. Oh, Lexi got a phone.
So with this comes great responsibility. So
great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah, so don't screw it up.
Don't test those limits, girl. Not yet. You're too young for that. You got 2 more years till you can become a hellion.
What's that?
Oh, don't worry about that. So now, Lexi, you're official. You can text your friends. So I figured you probably wouldn't want to stay on the podcast much longer after getting your phone activated, so that you can go call all your friends, get all their numbers, add them all in. So is that pretty exciting?
Yeah. I already know who I'm going to add first.
Okay.
Send me a text. Your favorite Aunt Holly. So send me a text.
Okay, I got.
So she only has 2 numbers in her Google contacts. One was mine, and the other one was a guy named Lincoln. So I had to add Val in there, so she at least had that. But anyways, so it's a big step for Lexi. She's 14. She's heading into 9th grade, and she's got a lot going on now, going into high school. So finally decided it was time.
Can you imagine if we would have had cell phones in 9th grade, bro?
Dude, I can't even imagine what life would be like.
Life would have been so different growing up if we would have had, first of all, internet for our entire lives.
Yeah.
And second of all, cell phones. I didn't get my first cell phone, Lexi, till I was 18. So I had a pager before that.
You had a pager?
What's
Yeah,
that?
I had a pager.
I never had a pager. I
It
had
was Dad's old pager.
So I had mom's phone. They got rid of the landline. So if I wanted to call anybody, I had to call on mom's phone.
A pager, Lexi, was you would call this number and it would be like beep. And then you would enter in your phone number and then it would beep on the pager and show the number. And then you would find a phone and call that number. Because there was no so it was like a little device you wore and it would go off and it would be like beep, beep, beep. And you'd look and you'd see the number. So it would pop up with home number, and then I'd have to call home and be like, hey, what do you need, Mom?
Oh, okay.
Yep. And
or sometimes there was codes. You could do little codes for it. That reminds me of this story when Heather was married to her ex-husband. He was in the Army and he had a little pager and they had a code that they would just send 111 and it meant I love you. So he's out in the field one night and they're playing war games and he forgets he's got his pager on. And it's at night, she's going to bed and she texts 111. His pager goes off and his whole squad gets killed because of his pager.
That's funny.
But yeah, it just makes me laugh with the pagers, like things they come up with. But yeah.
Man. Well, Lexi, you've graduated.
Yeah.
Now go away. Read some books.
Bye-bye.
Go read some books.
Bye,
Make
Lexi.
sure you send me your number.
Bye.
Send me your number so I can text you.
Okay.
All right. So that was a long time coming for her. She's been begging for a long time.
I know.
Just had to wait for the right time. I didn't want to say this in here, but and she'll listen. So it is what it is. But we do it more on a maturity level as opposed to,
Oh, 100%.
there's an age. Well, Jared got it here. Well, Jared probably shouldn't have got it then. It was just, again, trial and error. First kid gets something. Then you realize there's no real age. It's more of like, can they handle it?
But I love Jared's voicemail. I love the fact that he has his 8-year-old voice on his voicemail still.
Yes, it is. It is classic. Like Joey, who does the end of our show. His little high voice. Same with Jared.
And then he talks to you now. And both of them talk to you now. And they're like, super low. But both of them are like, hey, you've reached Jared's phone. Hey, like and subscribe.
It's Jared's phone. Oh, man. That's good stuff. All right. So moving on here. Fun fact of the day. What do you got for us here today?
So this kind of ties in, not the first part, but the second part of the fun fact kind of ties into something I wanted to talk about. Just a mini topic later in the show.
Yep.
So, Henry Ford. He is the founder of the Ford Motor Company. He was known to be super efficient and was always looking to cut costs and save money during the manufacturing and production of vehicles. So I like to call this a mythofact because they don't know if it's necessarily true, but it's not been proven false. And there's enough evidence to go both ways that it could be one or the other. So take this one with a grain of salt. This is what I'll call a mythofact. And it states that Henry Ford demanded that parts suppliers send him in very specific or specially sized wooden boxes with holes and handles placed in a very specific location on the wooden shipping crates. And upon arrival and emptying of the crates, the workers disassembled the crates with care without using crowbars or tools or anything that would damage the wood panels. And then the wooden crates were used in the manufacturing of the panels and floorboards of the Model T. So he found out that it was cheaper if
to just reuse.
Reuse. Yep. So then the leftover wood scraps and sawdust collected were then formed into charcoal and resold as Ford charcoal, which eventually became Kingsford charcoal, which is still around today.
Interesting.
So I do know the charcoal part is true of that. Just the other part is the disputed fact.
The myth of fact. Okay, another thing about Henry Ford that I know about him. They were trying to prove that he was not a very intelligent guy. And so because somebody had slandered him is what it was. Somebody had slandered him in the newspaper. He sues the newspaper. So the newspaper's going to try to prove that he was right, that he's not a very intelligent guy. And so they start asking him questions that people would know. When was the Declaration of Independence signed? And they get into all these questions. And basically what he says is, listen, I don't need to fill my brain with all of that stuff. He said, I have on my desk, I have buttons. And if I don't know something, I have somebody who works for me that will know the answer. And so I just push the button and that person comes in. And they were like, okay, that's genius. He's like, I don't need to fill my brain with all of these things. I need to fill my brain with creating a better vehicle and doing those things. All this other stuff, I just push a button and somebody comes in and will give me the answer.
I mean, that's pretty smart. That's the Google now. Google and your other home assistant.
Yeah. Alexa, she's muted. I mute her now.
Oh, okay. I didn't want to say her name because every time we've said her name in the past, she's like, hello, how can I help you?
He starts talking. Yes. So yeah, Henry Ford, I mean, he was a just a genius of a guy, and obviously, what he's
right. And I don't know that I don't know that that's actually true, but I could definitely see him considering that at some point, whether or not it happened or whether they tried it and then figured out it wasn't as efficient because they had to take apart the crates. I don't know, but I feel like that would be something that he would do. And the amount of parts he's ordering at the time, his suppliers would definitely be like, yeah, cool, we'll do it.
Yeah, I remember when he was trying to get the V8 engine into one engine block, and his engineers were like, it can't happen. He's like, yeah, don't tell me it can't happen. Like, just go make it happen. And of course, they came out then with the V8 engine, all in one casing. So, yeah, interesting. So I do see that you have that down here about charcoal later. But when was the last time, Holly, that you owned a Ford car? Have you ever owned one?
Yes, I had a Ford F100, 1981
yes, that's right.
Ford F100 truck, all blue.
That's the one you backed into.
Oh, I loved her. Yep, backed into your rodeo in her. But that's the only one I had.
Speaking of backing into cars, so I pulled my car out the other day because the kids wanted to drive the golf cart. So I pull it out and I park behind, on the side of the road behind the driveway. And then I send Jared off to go do something. I don't even remember. I said, Jared, go, whatever. And then he comes in and I'm like, what are you doing inside? Basically is my thought. And he goes, I just backed into your car. I'm like, you what? He's like, I just backed into your car. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. So we go out, sure enough, backed into my car, put a little dent.
Oh no.
Dent in the door and like the back door and the back quarter panel. And
now that means you have to sell it to me for less now.
I mean, seriously, and then last night I get a call. I'm out working, which I needed to get some stuff done. And I get a call that Jared's on the side of the road, the Dallas Parkway here in Prosper. And it's a busy road.
Right.
And there's no shoulder. It's just 2 lanes and then curb. And we get over there. We're trying to start it. It sounds like it's a fuel issue. It doesn't sound like a battery or alternator or anything like that. Got a guy that goes to church with me. He's a tech, like a car tech over at Toyota. Mm-hmm. And like he works for Toyota headquarters. He finds out why parts fail. So when a part fails, it comes in under warranty. He figures out why.
Got it.
And so I would call him up. I say, hey, man, can you meet me over there? He meets us over there. Dude, bro ran out of gas. Ran out of gas. He's like, I don't know what happened. I'm like, but what's crazy is, in his defense, that he's got a 2009 Hyundai Sonata. Okay. So, I mean, it's 200,000 miles. The fuel gauge in his defense did say a quarter of a tank. So we have learned, I said a quarter means 0 now.
Yep.
So,
his car got broken into the other day because why? He didn't lock the door. So I guarantee he's never, ever going to run out of gas again. And he's never going to forget to lock his door.
Yeah. Yes. And he's not going to forget to look behind him.
I can remember, though, being when I was bartending in Killeen and I forgot to get gas. I had my little tiny Celica and I forget to get gas and I have to call Dad at like 2:00 in the morning.
Oh boy.
Because I'm on the way home from Buffalo Wild Wings. Actually, it was probably 3 because we closed at 2. And I used to take one of the girls who worked with me home. And I would drop her off first and then go home. And so we are taking the Tremere exit off the highway. And my car is like, and I'm like, just make it to the gas station, make it to the gas station. Because, we had the Mickey. So I'm trying to make it. It doesn't. It stops on the exit. Right.
Yep. And once it starts doing that, you're done.
Oh, and I had to call Dad. It's like 2:33 in the morning, and he wakes up and he's like, where are you? And so I'm explaining to him and I'm like, I ran out of gas. Like, why didn't I just walk over to the freaking gas station, which was like, what? Not very far from the Red Lobster to the Mickey's. I had a gas can in my car even.
Not only that,
Mom and Dad were right there.
You live around the corner from there.
But I had my friend. Had it just been me, I probably would have just left it on and walked. But then I had to take her home. So it's like, and she lived over in like Willow Springs. So I'm like, great. So Dad gets up. He comes over in the van with the gas can and puts some gas in.
Yeah.
Enough for me to make it to the gas station and gas up. So, but I've never, ever run out of gas again.
Well, it reminds me of all the times I've been bailed out. So the things that have just happened to Jared happened to me. Okay. So I was down in Bryan. I was at Heidi's house. So shout out to Heidi because she loves to get the shout outs on here. So shout out Heidi, our oldest sister. I was at her house and I was with my buddies and I have a buddy, Kevin, and he would always just say things like, oh, watch out for that car. Well, and there was no car. Like he would cry wolf a lot and, just trying to be funny. So I'm backing out of his driveway. Because I think we went down for like a church dance or something. So I'm backing out of the driveway and he's like, watch out for the car. And I'm like, oh, yeah, good one. And I back right into the neighbor's car and the rodeo. And it's way more damage than Jared did to mine.
Oh, man. Yeah. The accidents I've been in.
And so that happened. And then I've actually run out of gas twice serving papers. because I get to a house and because I'm like on a route, I'm in a routine and I'm going and I'm like, okay, I'm out of gas. Like I know kind of how much I have. And then the light turns on. I'm like, okay, I got like 20, 30 miles.
Right.
And I serve these papers and I drive down and I'm like almost out of gas. And I'm like, okay, I got to go like right now. I have to go to the gas station. I get 5 houses down and the car stalls.
Oh no.
And dies. And I call Val. I'm like, hey, I need you to come. Luckily I was in Prosper. So she filled up with gas and brought it over to me, filled it up, went, took it to the gas station. Second time, I'm like, I got to go right now to the gas station. So I drive to the Kroger just down the street from us. And I'm on, the highway. I didn't take the back way, I took the highway so I can get there faster. And I'm pulling into the thing and I run out of gas as I'm coasting into the gas station. And I had to push it about 10 or 12 feet, but I made it and I put gas in.
I've almost run out. Now that you're saying that, there's been 2 times I've almost run out. Once in Utah. So, Texas has frontage roads.
Right.
So tons of exits in Texas. You can get off if there's a wreck, drive down the frontage road, get back on the highway. Utah doesn't have those in most of their areas. So I used to live in South Ogden, which was about an hour north of where I worked. I worked in Draper. And so I would have to take the I-15 home. And I am driving home and I witness in front of me a major car accident. And we all come to a standstill. Well, I had a quarter tank of gas. It's the summer, so not as hot as Texas summers, but
like
hot.
It's been the last couple days of nastiness.
Yeah. Well, it's like 100-something degrees. So I'm trying to turn my car off. And I had my little red Honda that Colby now has. And it gets to the point, I'm there for 3 hours on the highway.
Oh, geez.
And we've moved like nothing because there's no exit to get off. There's no frontage road. And I'm just sweating because I'm trying to conserve my gas and make sure. So it's like, okay, so I turn it off. And then it's to the point where by the time we get going again, I finally am able to get off. And by the time I'm pulling into the gas station, it's doing that thing.
So the times that Dad has had to bail me out, and now it's coming full circle for me. Like the time that I burned out my clutch on the rodeo in the back roads on the way to like a camping trip one time.
Goodness.
And he had to bring the van. And like, I don't even I'm just going to say, Pops, I appreciate you. Thank you. I probably never thanked you and knew like what you had to go through at that moment. But like we're on the back road. You have to call a tow truck. We load all my camping stuff into the van. I take the van and roll out and go have fun while you sit and wait for a tow truck to come pick up the Isuzu. So thank you. I've never probably thanked you enough. And now that it's happening to me, I'm like, all I do is fix crap from my kids. Like that's all I do. So appreciation to all the parents out there that fix crap for their kids. Anyways, moving on.
So Scott, last time we had Riley on.
Yeah.
And he kind of threw off our routine. And so we forgot to talk about volleyball. How did you do in volleyball, bro?
Well, I got this right here. Here we go.
Oh, state champion.
Yeah, buddy. State champions.
So they won it all, huh?
Got it all. Won it all. It was good. It was a lot less stressful than the regionals, I think.
All I can say is some of those teams, I'm not sure how they were playing for state championship because I got there late. I missed the first 2 games, which I said I was going to do. I got there and I'm like, what is happening right now? Like, how is this team vying for a state championship? How did this team beat any other team? Which makes me believe that I feel like they didn't actually play for it. They were just...
I rigged it. No, so what happens is each region has, teams and then they have 2 divisions. So they have an upper division, like a Division 1, which is where we play. And then they have a Division 2, which was where some of those other teams played. But they didn't have enough teams to create like a 2 separate divisions. So Division
1 is for good teams. Division 2 is for mediocre.
So it's competitive versus non-competitive. So competitive has different rules, like you sub in 1 for 1. Non-competitive, you just have a continuous rotation. And so a couple of those teams, they never played competitive and they were told, hey, we don't have enough teams to do like a Division 2. So you can either, get your money back or you can, play Division 1. And so they decided to play Division 1. Obviously we knew we were going to go in there and spank them. Which I'm not saying that in like we were so good because in fact our team just lost the other night in our regular season. So it's just that we were there, years ago. You know what I mean?
Right. You guys are on a different level now than they are.
Correct. And so they came in and played.
Them for saying like, hey, you know what? We're going to go and play.
Yeah.
And who cares?
And it was a fun time. And this it's called Texas Amateur Athletic Federation. They used to have a huge tournament, 30 teams each division. And now they can't. It's just COVID happened. They canceled it for a few years. And so they're trying to kind of build it back up. So we only had a few teams that played and that's fine. But you know what? We beat the teams that played. So we were the state champs. So we kids were excited about that. And
oh, it was exciting. Time. I was there and it was fun. We had a good time, and I like going with all the parents now. They all think I'm the fun aunt now that I drank a couple beers with them. They were just cracking up.
Yes, they were having a good time. So it was good. So now we're just in regular season, and then next season is middle school. So hopefully.
So are you gonna keep doing it? Do they still do like this outside of middle school? Like, can they play in middle school, but then also do these types of leagues on the side still, or do they not do it for their age?
No, they can't. So we go through 8th grade. And so after I won't have the team in middle school season, but after middle school season, then whoever wants to get back together, we'll reconvene and
but they don't do it for like high school level competitive outside of high school.
They could. You have to do club, not like we're in right now. So we're in like a competitive rec league, and so they will do it for like when you have to pay for a club team.
Got it.
So, which we may have to do. I don't know.
I mean, when I was in high school, I played soccer, and our team was absolutely terrible because it was like we were the ragtag leftover, everybody who didn't play any other sport, or even if they played soccer. A lot of us, military in and out. So you're not there a long time. You've not played with these people before. Whereas Killeen High School was more like old school Killeen, people like who grew up together, established. And so all the girls on those teams played club all the way even into high school. So they would come in and we would play them and we would get beat like 15-0. And they, of course, they didn't have mercy because we were the rival.
Right.
And, if we were better, we wouldn't have had mercy either. No. But the difference was drastic between those who played club. And you could tell they played together, like just seamless moves and everything else. So I'm almost wondering, like, if Ava's serious about volleyball and thinks, hey, I'd like to go to college and play in college ball, it might be beneficial. I mean, the club's expensive, though. Let's see.
Yeah, she might need a sponsor, like a rich aunt.
She doesn't need a sponsor. That girl make her own money. She goes out and just earns it. She needs money for shoes. She's like, all right, well, I'm going to pick up extra dog poop this week. She's a little entrepreneur.
She is. They all are. I was going to bring Lexi on. She's making these crocheted animals, and she does pretty good. Maybe I'll throw some.
Is she selling them? She getting them sold?
She's starting to sell them. So okay. I think again, Heidi is like her first customer. She's making a couple cows for Heidi.
Oh, cute.
So she's doing those. They're really cute little animals, and she's actually sold a few of them. So let's go back to grilling. So you mentioned Kingsford charcoal.
Correct.
You're a huge charcoal griller.
Correct. Love it.
We grew up with a charcoal griller, Dad.
Yeah.
But I hate it. Not the flavor. I just hate the process.
That's why I trained your kid to do it. I don't have to worry. Every time I come now, I text on the way and say, Jerry, I need you to get the grill going. Or I get here, hey, bro, I need you to get the grill going. He goes out. He does it perfectly every time now. So that's all you have to do now. I mean, you have a very nice charcoal grill here.
I do.
And all you have to do is 30 minutes before, tell Jerry to go get the grill going.
Sometimes then you smell like charcoal.
Yeah, but the taste is so worth it.
I know.
Like if you're going to cook on gas, I guess my theory is if you're going to cook on a gas grill, just freaking cook on the stove. It's the same thing. Add some liquid smoke. Boom. They have liquid smoke that you can get for the flavor of the bar. Then you don't even have to do a grill. Like it's all in the prep and the beauty and the taste of it. It's so much better.
I agree. It tastes better, but it takes longer to grill. It takes longer to cook. I can throw out some steaks onto the gas grill, gas it up 15 minutes before. Don't have to think about it. Don't have to go check on it. It's just getting going.
That's why your children don't like your steak, bro.
No, it was because it was chuck steak. Let's get this. Like we've talked about this already. It was chuck steak. It was bad choice by me. I get it. But when I cook up some other styles, it's good. But
okay, next time you have steak, I'm gonna let you cook it.
No, I agree. Yours tastes way better than mine. I agree. But you know what? Like I guess on a Sunday that's fine because we're not really doing anything. But when I'm cooking in the middle of the week, like Jared's not always here, and I just can't be bothered with putting all that together. And just throw it on the gas grill, get it done. Burger's done in 10 minutes. Everybody's eating. Everybody's happy. I got to cook for 6 people. You barely cook for 1. So
listen, I don't grill when I'm at home.
I know because your grill's at my house for some reason.
Because I can't grill at my house. Can't put an open flame on my patio.
I don't think the grill would fit under your patio.
It would fit long ways. It wouldn't fit. It might fit this way. I have a pretty decent sized patio. I sit out there every day. That's why I didn't wear pants all week. Because I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sit outside. I thought about it a couple times. I thought about going places, but then I was like, to pants or not to pants? That is the question. And not pantsing one every time. So there was a couple times I was going to go out this week to like watch the final NBA or the NBA finals. Didn't make it out. One of my girlfriends wanted to meet me out. And I was like, yeah, I'll let you know.
You know how many NBA finals?
Not wearing pants is going to win. Yeah.
You know how many minutes of the NBA finals I watched?
Zero.
You know
I
why?
only watched because I had a bet.
You know why?
Because you don't like basketball.
Because Michael Jordan's not playing.
And
those were the best NBA finals.
You know,
so
I'm not really a basketball fan so much. Like, I'll watch it if it's on. I don't know anything about anybody, but I made a bet with one of the bartenders at Suburban Yacht Club because he was a Celtics fan.
Uh-huh.
And the Celtics got beat by the Heat.
Yeah.
And so I had said the Heat were going to beat the Denver Nuggets. And
so
this was the night I went out with a Jamaican, and the Jamaican was like, there's no way, like Jokic, who's apparently the guy on the Nuggets team, one of the best players ever to play so far. Anyway, he was like, no, they were both like, it's going to be a sweep. I was like, I was predicting Miami in 6. And so the bartender says, if Miami wins, I'll get a tattoo of Jimmy Butler's face on my ass. So then I'm like, game on. So we shook on it. So I've watched that
was actually his last day working at the Suburban Yacht Club. You just didn't know that.
No, I watched
he made all sorts of bets that night. He's like, I'll bet you that I'll put this here.
Well, I went and watched some of the games there with him because I knew he would be there. So we watched, and he's like, hey, I'm still on for that tattoo. I'm a man of my word. I'm like, all right, man. So
well, you liked Miami because you like gold Dwayne Wade.
Dwayne Wade. Let me tell you. Hello,
that's a good looking guy.
He is a good looking dude. I don't know if I like him or Gabe better. Whew. I'll take them both. Come on, guys. Let's go.
Well, he's got Gabe's actually single, isn't he?
Yeah.
Dwayne, he's got his woman.
Yeah, I know. I don't like her.
So back to the grill. So how do you feel about like black stones? You know what black stones are? Like flat top? So it's not like right.
It's almost like, is it the one that's like a cast iron?
Yeah, it's almost like an electric skillet. It's not electric, but you know what I mean?
Here's the thing. I'm considering getting, there's a Ninja grill. It's electric and it looks like it's got the Blackstone top, but it uses wood pellets to grill. And all the reviews are talking about how it is like the best electric grill. And I'm only considering that so that I can grill at my house.
Better than the George Foreman? Oh, no.
Well, George Foreman, you used inside the house. This one, it actually smokes.
It's outside.
Yeah, it's an outside one. Gotcha. So you actually use it outside and because it does smoke and whatever. So I'm considering that, but I still I have a buddy and we would go over to their house when we all lived in Utah and Owen and Rosie's house, Chad and Kimber and their kids. And I would go over to Owen and Rosie's every Sunday for dinner. And so one time he's like, hey, I'm going to grill I'm going to cook some steaks. I'm like, well, how do you plan on doing that? I was like, oh, you guys got a grill. He's like, no, I was going to do it on a cast iron skillet. And I'm like, oh, you've lost your mind. And I know they say like, hey, you can cook everybody always says like if you don't have a grill, the best way to cook a steak is cast iron skillet. I just couldn't imagine eating a steak cooked on a cast iron skillet. Because like for me, part of the reason I love steak is because of that charcoal smoky mesquite flavor.
Yeah,
like,
you do like that better.
Stick it on a cast iron. Yeah, it's like not great. So that day I went out to Lowe's and bought a grill and took it over to their place. I was like, yo, we're going to leave this here because we grilled there we cooked every week there.
I think that was like the first thing you bought when you got here. You came to our house. You're like, hey, you need a grill. So you go buy it. And in true Pritchard form, it took you 8 hours to put the thing together.
Not just me. Jared and I did it together.
And not only that, you were convinced that the parts were not correct. You're like, they didn't put this in here right. This is not correct. They turned this the wrong way. Like
because Jared put it on wrong and insisted he did it correctly. It was Jared's fault. Oh, there was a lot of anger that day. That's why I don't do projects. I think I even texted you at one point and said, do you have a friend who's a handy person who can come over and put together this grill?
Because I think you even said like, we have to go back to Lowe's to get this extra part to like jimmy this thing together. I'm like, there's no way you have to jimmy rig it together. Like you're not doing it right.
Yeah, it was Jared.
But of course that's me telling you. And if I'd have done it, it would have been wrong too. So whatever.
It was the worst. Again, that's the reason I don't put shit together.
So on the grilling topic still, every once in a while, Dad would go smoke stuff. Like he smoked a turkey. Like, how do you feel about smoked food? Me personally, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of smoked.
I'm not a big fan of smoked. And I'll be honest, the smoked meats make my stomach hurt. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just because it's like extra rich or something, but I am not. First of all, I already don't like turkey. So Thanksgiving's hard for me. And then it's like, hey, have this smoked turkey. And I'm like,
and people are like, oh, it's so delicious. Smoked is the way. I'm like, there's something about the flavor. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, my ex had a Traeger smoker and he used to love to smoke stuff. And I'm like, oh my God, I hate smoked food. You want to smoke the steaks on it. I'm just not a huge smoked fan. Like I'll eat it like if that's what I have. And like I can appreciate the flavor and the time and stuff that goes into it, but I just am not a fan of it. Like even going to like these barbecue places around and they're, people want to get the smoked meat or
whatever. And
yeah, no, I'm not a fan.
Like, I'm not a huge like smoked brisket guy. I just am.
I just don't like brisket.
Yeah, I always have a trouble with. So I can have brisket if it's like chopped up and it's got barbecue sauce and you make a sandwich out of it.
It's so dry.
Not even if it's dry. Like I've had moist, but it's almost too rich of a flavor for me, and I end up like it just sits in my. Guys, don't hate me on this. It's kind of like what hot dogs do to me, which is they just sit in my stomach, and they are not comparable. Hot dogs and brisket are not the same. I understand that. But they just both.
I burp hot dogs for 5 days.
That's it.
Hot dogs.
Yes, and they just sit in my stomach. They sit in my stomach. And so it's gotten better as I've gotten older, but man, I used to not be able to eat brisket because we would get brisket like when we go to Boy Scout camp and you get brisket and, pieces of white bread for like the last day. Right. They always smoked a brisket. And I just never been a fan. And maybe it was because, and not that it was bad. I don't feel like it was bad at Scout camp. Like they knew what they were doing, but I just didn't, I just never really enjoyed it. So
same. And I love barbecue, especially like Texas barbecue. And I'll go out to barbecue joints, but it is a rare thing that anybody can ever convince me to get brisket. Yeah. Because I always feel like it's so overdone and dry no matter where you go. Yeah. But there is a place, it's called Pecan Lodge. I know they have it down in Deep Ellum. I think there's one other place in Dallas. And I've heard their brisket's good. And I almost went there the other day to try it, but I ended up finding a Mexican food joint instead. So
I will say this. I will take charcoal if I'm eating it all day over gas, over smoked. But if I have to cook it, I'm going to go with the gas grill because it's easy.
Though I can't say much because it's like, that's the difference for me. Like when I cook at home, it's like, if I have to cook for me, I don't want to cook. Like I hate cooking for one, but if I come over to your house, it doesn't bother me to cook at all because it's like, hey, but I cooked earlier this week trying to stick to some sort of healthy eating, right. Not necessarily fish. I cooked some chicken and I had to eat that chicken 4 days in a row with peas and brown rice.
Fun.
That's part of the other reason I didn't wear pants because I was like, well, I do have these leftovers I need to eat. But it's like, that's the thing for me with like cooking for one. It's so hard. I need like individual vegetable portions and it's just a pain. It's more work than it's worth.
I don't live far. Just come up and make dinner every day.
And I have to put pants on.
Yeah.
It's the dilemma again. I thought about that this week several times. Like I should go over there and hang out summer. And then I was like, gotta put pants on. I'm already doing that on Friday. So
no pants wins. No pants wins.
Always.
Gotcha. So Holly, we gotta, we're almost to our time here for today's episode, but you have something on our notes here. It says stopping for emergency vehicles. What's going on? What did you not do?
This is what increased my anger on the way here because I can't stand bad drivers. So there's an emergency vehicle coming down the road. There's a median in the middle of the road with grass, right?
Correct.
Coming the opposite direction. If it is a divided road, you do not have to stop. It's like an ambulance, and then you can see there's a fire truck coming and a police car. Well, one person stops. So then you've got all the other lanes who are like, oh, well, I got to stop. And it's like, I'm stuck sitting there. I'm already angry. I've already gone to grocery stores. And then they're stopping. And I'm like honking my horn.
They're probably like,
and rolling down my window.
What a horrible citizen.
Putting down my window and doing this out the window because I read something. It's so dumb, but a lady said that. She put it out on like a tweet one day that her husband has started giving the thumbs down instead of flipping people off whenever he's mad. He said it makes people more angry when you give them a thumbs down. So ever since then, I just do a thumbs down, I guess, because like social media, if you don't like something, you thumbs down it. So I was like honking my horn, thumbs downing, like move, but nobody wants to move, even though divided highway. So then it makes me wonder how many people really know the laws that if it's a divided road, you do not have to stop.
Like, same with schools buses.
Right. Like what's going to happen? The ambulance is going to drive up on the curb and cut in front of you to go. Like, no, that's not going to happen, you moron. Move along.
I did post that one day on Facebook. I posted like when you have to stop and when you don't. And yeah, divided highway, don't have to stop. I think it's like if you have 3 lanes in between you, you don't have to stop.
Correct.
So even like a school.
You pull into the furthest lane over, but you don't have to stop.
And even the even school buses, like if it's 3 lanes, because I don't think the kids are supposed to be crossing like a 4-lane road, 5-6 lane road.
I always stop regardless for school buses because kids are idiots. No offense.
Yeah. No. Obviously, you have to. Exactly. That's why they don't.
I mean, you don't have to after a certain amount of lanes, but I definitely do because I'm like, with my luck, it'd be the little kid who runs out.
Here's something you may not know. Yeah. It is a law here in Texas, and other states have it too, that if you have a vehicle with lights on, like a police vehicle or a construction vehicle, like not construction, but like a TxDOT vehicle on the side of the road, you have to slow down 25 miles below the speed limit if you're in the lane right next to them, or you have to get over. So if you get over a lane, you leave a lane in between, you can keep going the speed limit, but you have to be 25 miles below the speed limit if you stay in the lane.
Right.
That's right next to him.
I thought you had to go down. I thought it was you had to go down to 20 miles an hour.
It's 25 under the speed limit.
Oh, okay. Well, there was 2 cops on the road. I got lucky today, though. I will say I'm on the tollway, flying. I mean, just cruising, going.
Because you're mad.
And I'm mad.
Didn't have what you needed.
Yep. Come around
because you didn't go to put pants on.
I know. I was supposed to go to World Market, but again, didn't put on pants. So here we are. But yes, flying around a corner, 2 cops sitting there. Luckily, though, they were pulling somebody else over. So I was like, well, they're not going to come after me. That's the other thing I don't get. Like if a cop is pulled over on the side of the road, he's pulled over with another car and all the cars like slam on their brakes to slow down. Like that cop's not going to like be like, hey, you know what? Never mind. And jump in the car and go after you. Right. Although I did see that. That did happen to me one time in Utah, now that I say that. In Utah, I got pulled over once. You're right. I was in my Challenger, my white one, driving Moneypenny home from Dugway. Cop pulls me over, comes up to the window, says something about, is there a reason you're going so fast? So I always use the bathroom excuse. Oh, I'm coming from Dugway. There's no bathroom between there. It's a 2-hour commute, blah, blah, blah. I just really have to go. He's like, okay. And he's like, do you have your license? I hand him my license. He walks back. Well, then he comes running back up to my car. He goes, ma'am, today's your lucky day. I'm going to give you a warning because that car full of kids just drove by. And the way they looked at me makes me think there's drugs in the car. Goodbye. Like small Utah town. Jumps in his car and drives off. But I was like, oh, okay. My lucky day.
Yeah, that's good.
But normally that's not going to happen. Like when I outran the cop in New Mexico, I knew he wasn't going to catch me. Like it was like, I'm like 10 miles from the Texas border. This man ain't going to catch me. He's got to turn around and catch up to me. And I'm going 120 miles an hour. It's not going to happen. So I just cruised on through. It's like, I'm going to chance it.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing though, Jared, last night, Val did call the police and was like, hey, can you send like somebody to block us? Because people were flying. Jared said he was pushing his car and there was a Tahoe that was literally 3 feet from him, just flying by. He's like, I felt the wind on my legs. He's like, it was like scary because he's, butt up against the car pushing, right. And the car's like his buddy Cade was with him and he's like, what's this guy doing? And then Jared's like, well, and he looks up and this car just flies by him. And so Jared,
And you know what? I bet that guy didn't even see them because I bet he was probably on his phone. Yeah. That drives me nuts. And I try not to, I used to be really bad about that. I used to be on my phone and text a lot, but now it's hard because I have a manual, but I try not to do that as often as possible. If I have to text while I'm driving, I wait till I'm stopped.
Yeah. Well, let's close it out. I'm going to give you 3 things that happened to me this week as we close it out. Number 1, when I dropped you off to go get your back injections again to your old lady appointment. I leave and this girl, probably 25, comes to my door and is like, do you have something to break this car window? I locked my keys in my car and I have an appointment and I need
at the hospital?
At the hospital. Okay. And I need to break the car window. And I'm like, well, wouldn't it be better to like call your insurance and have lockout? And she's like, well, I don't have my phone. And I'm like, well, I have a phone. Like I can call for you. She's like, I'm just in a hurry. And so I call the fire department. I'm like, hey, do you guys do lockouts? And they said, no, not unless the car's running or somebody's inside. And I'm like, fine. And so I'm like, sorry, I can't help you. I do have it. I didn't tell her this, but I'm like, I have a tire iron, but I'm not going to give it to you. Like, what do you think? Like, so she's asking other people and then she's got a rock as I'm leaving and like banging the window. Like this story seemed legit because the door was kind of open still, like the back door. She had gone to close it, I think, and it didn't latch. And so it was still open. Like it was, like you could put something in there, maybe unlock the door, get the door open. But then I come back 3 hours later and the car's still there. So I'm kind of iffy on this one.
It's like that stolen credit card story.
Yeah.
Like it just, I don't know. Something about that seems sketchy. Like for me, I don't care how big of a hurry I'm in. I'm already going to be late.
Like I'm not going to break my window.
I'm not going to break my window because insurance isn't paying for that. Then I have glass all over my car. Like, I don't know. To me, it's like, I would have been like, is this your ex-boyfriend's car?
Yeah,
is this your like boyfriend's side chick's car? Right. Like, what is happening? This seems suspect. And I probably would have been like, yeah, no, I'm calling 911.
It seems sketchy. And I just am like, I'm out. Like, I don't have anything. Sorry.
Yeah, good call on that one.
So that was number 1. Number 2, I tried Big Red Soda. You ever had Big Red Soda?
I have had Big Red Soda and it is terrible.
Sorry, Dr. Pepper. We love you. We love Dr. Pepper. I love Sunkissed watermelon lemonade. But I don't know what you guys did with Big Red. I don't know.
That's like a Texas institution though, man. Red soda. People love red soda.
It's like, what flavor you got? Red?
Chad had it up at his Fat Daddy's. That one was consistently gone. People love that.
I can't figure it out.
My boys tried it for the first time up there and were like, what is this? This is amazing. It's like bubblegum cotton candy.
It's like bubblegum, cotton candy, cream soda all in one. I haven't figured it out. And the sugar content, I don't even know what this one is. Yep, same. 73 grams of sugar. So then somebody told me to try Big Blue, which apparently is, the brother of Big Red.
Must be like blue. That must be like raspberry instead of strawberry.
I don't know. Like, it did not taste like strawberry. Red does not taste like strawberry. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to have to try Big Blue. So maybe I'll do a Facebook Live with Big Blue after this episode
Better you than
airs. And maybe we'll do it together. Maybe we'll do a Facebook Live together. And the last thing as we close, Holly, during our last episode, during the taping of our last episode with Riley, apparently Lulu threw up out in the family. Okay. And if you remember, we had the Vivint guy here, and he was
right. It was a lot of chaos.
There's a lot of stuff going on, and I get a text message in the middle of the show from Lexi. Actually, it wasn't even a text message. She emailed me from her school email because she did not have text messaging, and she said that Lulu threw up.
I love kids though. Like at 14, I mean, I feel like this is again technology dumbing kids down, dumbing people down. At 14, if the dog threw up, what would you have done?
I cleaned it up.
Would you have been like, Mom, the dog threw up?
Well, so then Lexi was like, Dad. So I asked her, I'm like, what do you mean the dog threw up? Lexi's like, I told you because like you want me to tell you these things. Like you want us to tell you something happened. So I'm like, fine. She wasn't telling us like, what do we do? Right. She was just telling me, hey, the dog threw up. So, which I think I saw her walk this way, then walk back during that chaos. I didn't know what was going on because we were in here. Anyways, fast forward a couple days. Jace has to vacuum, so we actually next day, I think, because we filmed on a Friday.
Oh no.
He has to vacuum on Saturday. Well, the vacuum cleaner, the plug broke. So now I have to go for a project. And I first stop at Lowe's, and then I realize Lowe's is a lot further from my house than Home Depot. However, Lowe's was closer when I was driving home from wherever I was. So I stop at Lowe's. I realize I'm going to have to come back to the store. And so I would rather go to Home Depot than Lowe's because it was close.
And why do you have to go back to the store, Scott?
Because I can't ever do a project right the first time.
Correct.
So I decide to go to Home Depot. I get the plug, bring it home. It's not even the right plug. However, it'll work. I got a 3-prong instead of a 2-prong, whatever. I show the kids how to replace the plug. Everything works. Great. First shot. So they go to vacuum, and Jay says, I'll vacuum first. And he goes, Dad, there's something yellow that is like coming out onto the carpet while I'm vacuuming. I'm like, so I go up and I look and I said, who vacuumed throw up?
How did you know it was throw up? Did it smell?
I could tell that it was throw up. Like you can see that it was throw up. I was like, who vacuumed the dog throw up? And our little 9-year-old Jace, trying to be helpful. I don't know where his older siblings were that maybe had a little bit more developed brain. Probably not, I guess. He thought the best way to clean up the throw up was with a vacuum.
Oh, did it make the vacuum stink? Did it smell like throw up when you vacuumed?
So it didn't. I mean, I guess, but there was throw up all over the carpet now.
That's gross.
So I had to take the whole friggin' vacuum apart. And like, again, going back to thanks, Dad, for all the stupid stuff we did, like charcoal in the vacuum cleaner, like hot coals in the vacuum cleaner.
Oh,
so
Chad.
Jace vacuumed the throw up and then cleaned it. They cleaned it with cleaner after it was vacuumed. So they cleaned the carpet or whatever it was.
I feel like though your kids, I feel like they all thought that was a great idea, to be quite honest. They're all a little blonde.
So I had vacuum all over this, the brush and up into the like. So luckily I got it all cleaned out, hosed it all down, and Val just bought a new blow dryer for the dog. It's not like a blow dryer like we have. It's more like it's a canister that it kind of shoots the water off of the dogs. And I used that to dry it out the vacuum, which actually worked really good. So
gross.
It did not smell like throw up after. But it was just like throw up, just all up in, you had the brush and it has like a clear spot up top where you can see in, all full of throw up.
That is so gross.
I had to clean the canister. I had to clean the hoses. I'm just like, all I do is fix garbage for my kids.
Every day there's a new reason why I'm thankful.
Yeah. Anyways.
Like I don't have to deal with that shit. But I mean, there's moments in between that make it worth it, right?
I love them. This right here, that right there. That's why I do it.
I guess. Better you than me, bruv. I can't imagine having to clean up vacuum from or throw up from a vacuum.
Yeah, it's garbage. Hate it. Gross. Hate it. But anyways, guys, thanks for being in with us. Loved being here with you. A little cameo, not a cameo, but a guest with Lexi.
Special guest appearance. Yeah.
That was awesome. That was great. And next week, I think we're drinking bacon soda. I think we should do it.
I don't know what we have. I'm down. We'll have to look at the other flavors, but baking soda might be it. And not baking soda.
Bacon.
Bacon. BACON, like bacon Coke.
Bacon flavored soda. Gonna be fun.
Deal.
All right. Okay, let's do it. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, my channel? Please hit the drop a like and hit the subscribe button. Looking for my first subscriber. Can't subscribe myself. Can't do that for some reason. I don't know why. Wish you could.